All right, I think we'll get started now. This is giving us a quickie. It's a 15-minute session. So this is about managing your Docker containers using Minecraft. My son did this as a hobby project last summer. Actually, yeah, last winter or so, 2 years winter back. So he's been playing Minecraft for a while, and all kids do. And then he started asking me, Dad, what's Docker? So I kind of started explaining the concepts to him. That Docker are containers, and then he looked at Dockercraft, essentially, and then Dockercraft is basically a server-side mod, which says, okay, well, if you look at Minecraft, in this game, there's a server-side concept and a client-side concept. So a server-side mod is something you install on the server that is accessible to all the players, and then there's a client-side mod that you can install on your client, which is only accessible to you.
Is this like a single-player server or like
Multiplayer server. Multiplayer server. So the Dockercraft is a multiplayer server. Dockercraft is a plugin for a multiplayer server. That's where basically that is written already. So if we get started here, well, this is sort of his level. He's pretty good in Minecraft. He's sort of okay in Java, and his level in Docker was like whatever he has heard me talking or writing presentations. So very low in that sense. So what does it do? Well, it's a client-side Docker mod, basically inspired by the server-side Dockercraft. And that was written by Gaten and Adrian. So he looked at Dockercraft, as I was saying, and he saw Dockercraft was written using Lua. And Lua is a server-side language in that sense. Or he doesn't know Lua, but it's a server-side mod. And on the server side, you only have limited capabilities on what we can do with the mod. So he's familiar with Java, and he knows how to do Minecraft mods using Java. So he started, I'm going to take that mod, translate that into the server on the client side of it. So it does give you more capabilities in that sense. But essentially, what does it do? It manages your Docker containers visually using Minecraft. And what does it mean? Well, you can run your Docker commands from the game. You can say start a container, stop a container. So all the Docker container run, Docker container stop, Docker image pull, all those commands will be there. But there are additional convenience commands that he built into the game as well. Each Docker container essentially was visualized as a Minecraft block and an item. And I'll show you some examples of that. Very easy, it's basically built as a Gradle project, and then you can easily run it from any Java development environment if you want to. You can debug it, write tests, and stuff like that. The coolest part of the whole exercise was really visualizing the containers itself. So you can see your containers in Minecraft. And by that, what I mean is each container essentially is a box. So this is sort of how a Minecraft block would look like in the game, or a Docker container would look like. It puts a kind of nice, cute logo of Docker over there. There is a start and stop button, so you can hit the container to start it and stop it. There's a slight name sign there. There's an image, what image it's using. So this is sort of a very close-up view of a container visualizer in Minecraft itself. And I'll show you. This is a Minecraft custom Minecraft block that he created, and that's what is being representing a Docker container. And I'll show you a live sample of this and how this looks like on a much bigger scale. Now, the look of the container itself changes based upon the status. If the container is running, it's gray. If the container is stopped, it's all red. And you'll see again a sample of that. He also created what he called as a container wand, and that's a new Minecraft item. So you can run around with that wand, and you can just smash a block, and the whole block disappears, and basically the container dies in the backend. So it was all about tying with the backend Docker host and the front-end Minecraft client using Docker Java library, which is a standard library that everybody uses if they want to talk to Docker host. And then he also added capabilities using Docker Java library again, on where it was pinging the Docker host. Say if you spin up some more Docker containers from the backside, that, okay, you know what, I have spin up 3 more containers, how are they going to be visualized in Minecraft? So it's pinging Docker host with a certain refresh rate by which the number of Docker containers or the Minecraft blocks, so to say, will change accordingly. What are some of the Docker commands in Minecraft? Now, this is based upon 1.10 of Docker, actually. So the commands are a bit old, so we do need to update that. So you will see, it's not using the new Docker 113 restructured CLI. So here, basically, the commands are Docker PS, Docker run. So Docker PS now is Docker container ls. Docker run now is Docker container run. Docker images is now Docker image ls. So as I said, this is the older version of Docker. So those are the commands that are supported in this case. But then there were some convenience commands. And this is what was fun, where I want to kill all the containers. So you say Docker kill all. Typically what you will say is Docker container rm-f, and you will quietly list all the container IDs. So there's a little cryptic command, particularly if you're starting from the Minecraft angle of it. So you just added a convenience command. Similarly, you could have stopped some containers, with your warn, kill those, stop the containers only, then you can remove all those containers. And heat map was particularly useful. Say if you're running, a few containers, like say 15, 20 containers, and then you want to see which containers are occupying more memory and more CPU, for example. So you can give certain parameters, and those containers will lit up. There will be a different light in the containers, essentially. So I work for Couchbase. So my son would spin up a lot of Nginx containers and a lot of Couchbase containers, and he says, Dad, see your container, that's lit up. It's a database after all, as opposed to a web server. But that was his test, Nginx and Couchbase, and how he was verifying the heat map part of it. Just like the Docker CLI is wonderful with --help, so he said, I'm going to add /docker help. The focus was done on how to keep that experience, not to bring the Docker experience to Minecraft, but rather take that Minecraft experience to Docker. That in Minecraft, a player would play like, /docker help. So, okay, what command that's going to map to, and that's sort of the whole exercise was about. Some fun stuff he did. The one on the left side is where he built a 3D Minecraft model of Moby. So he built it using some tools and basically exported a PNG and a bunch of Java files. So he imported that entire 3D model, and then what you could do is wherever you're going, in the game, you can spawn a bunch of Mobys, and they'll be floating around in the ocean. So that was pretty cool. And one of the things that we also worked was with Netflix. So I'll show you a video of Netflix. Netflix has this concept of a chaos monkey. And chaos monkey, all it does is, it just goes around, kill random processes, kill random VMs, and see how the application recovers for it. I'll show you a video of Netflix, but essentially, he created a model for chaos monkey as well. And then, what you're doing is, so if you see here, in this image, essentially, right here, these are the bunch of containers that are running. All of these are a whole lot of containers that are running, and then this and this, these are my chaos monkeys. So these chaos monkeys are now floating around containers with a container wand in their hand and randomly killing containers, just to make sure that your app behaves properly. The app behaving part, we didn't do it, but at least the chaos monkey concept was introduced. And I'll show you how Netflix really used that. The best part is, all of this code is completely out in open source. This is my son's GitHub repo, Aditya Gupta 1/Mobycraft. Or if you search on Mobycraft, you will find the links to it in the GitHub repo over there. Forge, yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, you can write, there are multiple ways by which you can write Minecraft mods. Forge, Bucket, a whole lot of them. He and I wrote a book together on how to do Minecraft modding with Forge. So he was definitely more familiar with Forge. And that's a client-side mod. So essentially, he used that to add all the capacity. So this is what you're seeing essentially. So if you go here in the readme.ascii doc, again, complete instructions are there. And if you want to run it in your own IntelliJ or Eclipse for a Gradle project, as an example. What is Netflix Titus? Well, Netflix Titus is the container cloud at Netflix. You can learn more about it at this bit.ly link. This was a talk given by Andrew Spiker, who works at Netflix and who runs this Netflix Titus team. So what I'm going to show you is a video of Titus in production. This video is collected over 4 hours, time-lapsed. Andrew Spiker is the one who created this. But in those 4 hours, essentially, if you think about it, there are 130 R38XLs VM running. These are all on AWS, so which is equivalent to almost 4,000 vCPUs, 31 terabytes of memories. And at peak, we had about 325 containers running. So next, what I'm going to show you is a video where you will see these 325 containers running and how the containers are starting and shutting down. You have a question, sir?
No, I'm not in the audio video.
Oh, okay, it's okay. Just 4 of us anyway.
We actually want to do. I think they want to record this. So.
Oh, are we recording this one?
Go ahead, sir.
Oh, well. So here we go. Now, what I'm going to show you is a small video on how that Mobycraft was captured in production, okay? So bear with it. This is about a 1.5 minute long video. You, of course, get a Netflix commercial before to begin with. So this is not the Mobycraft part. This was created right around DockerCon last year. We showed this at DockerCon last year. It was very exciting. So now this is Minecraft, and essentially this is Titus in production. And you can see, oh, sorry. Oh, dang. I'm going to pause it and then I'll talk about it a little bit. So this is where the containers are getting spawned, and you can see each container is different color. So this was a bit of a custom work we did. So now you can see about 150 odd containers that are running over here, and there was some work done over there. Depending upon the container image, we used sheep wool to color that particular block. And that's why it was a single block where you can add different colors to it. So you can see, depending upon the image that's coming, there is orange, there is green, purple, blue, all different colors were there. And now you will see, at the peak, how about 325 containers are running. So you can see the visualization. And again, as I said, it's a time lapse. Again? No chaos monkey in these cases. So one of the things I want to highlight here is every night, for example, Netflix machine learning algorithm wakes up. It looks at what movies you watched, what pages you clicked, and then it creates what you call as LOLOMO, list of movies. And so essentially when you log into your Netflix homepage, it shows you that LOLOMO, and that LOLOMO is created by this machine learning algorithm. So using that, and so essentially the purple one here, this one over here, and the red one over here, you see the mouse? Yeah, this red one and the purple one here, these are all the machine learning algorithms coming up at night, and these are all the containers that are coming up at night and running that algorithm.
So this is a real Netflix infrastructure, right?
Yeah. This is Netflix Titus in production. Now we gave this talk, like my son gave this talk actually at DockerCon, and that was very exciting, because showing this in production with Andrew being in the audience, it was quite an exciting time, and DockerCon particularly looks for those cool ideas where kids are engaged. So I think that was a good part on Docker as well. So this is about 4 hours of data, and you can see how Minecraft world is changing from night to day. Oh, that's about it.
Have you configured what the size of the frame is being filled in there? You basically have this wall of blocks that expands.
Oh, yeah. So what was done is essentially, it was a fixed structure. In the sense, it's a column of 10 containers. And if you have more containers getting spawned, a new column was created. And then accordingly, you can zoom out or zoom in to see what view you want to see. Now, what you could do is once the containers are all created, you can zoom in, now take a container one and kill a container. And within the container, again, there are start, stop buttons. And you can go into the container and you can say, show me more information. That's why we don't want to create a simple block, but we created a complex block, which is like a room, because then you can get into the room and get a feeling for it. Other things that we also played with is, for example, now that the room is created, how do you blow up things in Minecraft? You blow up TNT. So you get into a room, you put a TNT over there, and you blow a bunch of containers over there. And then you see how the things behave. So it's basically a fun project, essentially. But it was a very good way for him to get introduced to the concept of Docker and applying his passion where he's excited about to learn the Docker concepts. No, we already did this. One thing cool that we also did was, we also connected multiple Docker providers. So by default, for example, we were using just the basic commands. So in this case, for example, you're seeing, my mouse is not working, but essentially what we have is different Docker providers. So for example, by default, we were connecting to the local Docker host. Now we could connect to Docker for Mac or Docker machine. At that time, Docker machine was more prominent. So we had to provide different Docker providers because the library had different connectors. Now, for testing, we also created a local JSON provider where we don't have to connect to a Docker host, because end of the day, if you think about it, Docker host is giving you a bunch of JSON documents. It's a REST API. So we created a local JSON provider. We captured those JSON documents in a local file, and so that's a JSON provider. And for the last, what you see is the Titus had their own provider because it's built on sort of Mesosphere in that sense. So they built their Titus provider, which is using the same interfaces, but actually pulling the data from the Titus implementation, because the JSON API or the REST API is a bit different. How you can help? Well, he's a freshman now. He built this about a year and a half ago, so you can definitely help with code review. Those were his ideas. Send pull requests if you want to contribute in any sense. Try it out if you find any issues, testing in your own environment, and there's a bit.ly link on the GitHub that you can play with. Well, this was his party line where he says, if Netflix can use Mobycraft to manage their containers, you can do it too. So, well, that was my quickie.